They said the twins just couldn't sleep. Night after night, their cries echoed through the millionaire's mansion, and nothing, no medicine, no lullaby, could calm them. Then came the new black nanny, a woman with more than just kindness in her heart. She brought peace to the children, but in doing so, she uncovered something far darker than sleepless nights, something that would shake the family and the powerful people they trusted to the core. What she did next was more than unexpected. It was insane. Alicia Carter had built her life around helping children heal. A respected child psychologist with years of experience, she had seen her share of heartbreak, but nothing prepared her for the Hamilton mansion. When the call came, she thought it was just another job. Care for 2 young girls who had lost their mother, and help them sleep again. The pay was generous, the home stunning, and the widowed father, Richard Hamilton, seemed desperate for answers. The twins, Lily and Lila, were bright and beautiful, but shadows lingered in their eyes. Nightmares kept them awake. Their small hands clutched blankets as if holding back the world. Alicia knew trauma when she saw it, but she also sensed something else, something unspoken. Around the polished marble floors and manicured gardens, the air felt heavy. The housekeeper, Martha, watched her every move, her polite smile never reaching her eyes. It should have been a safe haven for the girls. Instead, it felt like a place where secrets thrived. And Alicia was about to find out just how deep those secrets went. At first, the change in the twins was subtle. Within a week, their nightmares eased, their eyes brightened, and for the first time in months, they slept through the night. Richard was amazed, but not everyone was pleased. Martha, the housekeeper who had worked for the family for decades, began hovering more than usual. She would pop into the nursery uninvited, shuffle papers in Alicia's workspace, and make offhand remarks about people coming in with their own agendas. Alicia brushed it off. She was used to whispers and sideways glances in spaces where she was the only black professional. But then came the accusation. One morning, Richard called her into his office. His voice was tight. "Martha says you've been giving the girls something to make them sleep." The words hung heavy in the air. Alicia's heart pounded, not from guilt, but from the sting of knowing how easily a black woman's integrity could be questioned. She explained her trauma therapy methods, even showed him her meticulous notes. Richard hesitated, caught between trust in Alicia and loyalty to a longtime employee. That night, she overheard Martha on the phone in the kitchen. The housekeeper's voice was sharp, dripping with disdain. "She thinks she can waltz in here and fix everything. Just like her brother thought he could keep that job at Hamilton Industries. Good thing I convinced Richard to clean house." The words hit like a punch. Her brother, David, fired months ago without warning, had been one of the company's top project managers. He'd told Alicia something felt off about the layoffs. Every single person let go was black or Latino. Now it was clear this wasn't just about her work with the twins. Martha had been pulling strings behind the scenes, poisoning both the home and the company against people like her. The next days were a blur of tension. Richard grew distant. The twins clung to her even more, and Martha's presence became suffocating. Alicia knew that staying silent would only allow the rot to spread. But she also knew that exposing Martha could destroy her own career if she didn't have proof. So she started digging, reviewing old company memos, quietly recording conversations, connecting with former employees who had stories eerily similar to David's. And with each discovery, the picture became clearer and uglier. What Alicia found next would not only put her at risk of losing her job, it could put her in the crosshairs of powerful people determined to keep their secrets buried. The breaking point came on a rainy Thursday evening. Richard had called an urgent meeting in the grand dining room. Martha sat at one end of the table, her arms folded, a faint smirk tugging at her lips. Richard's eyes were cold, his tone clipped. "Alicia, I've been told you've been using questionable methods with my daughters, and interfering in matters that don't concern you." On the table sat a stack of papers, photocopies of her private therapy notes, taken from her locked office. Martha had leaked them, twisting her clinical observations into something sinister. Alicia's chest tightened, but she steadied her voice. Then maybe you should see everything. She placed her own folder on the table. Records of company layoffs, testimony from former employees, and audio recordings of Martha's words dripping with prejudice. The room went still. Richard scanned the documents, his jaw tightening as the truth unfolded. How Martha had poisoned his trust, influenced firings at Hamilton Industries, and targeted people of color with calculated cruelty. Martha's face shifted from smug to furious. You think anyone will believe you? You're just the help. The words sliced through the air like a blade. For a heartbeat, the only sound was the rain against the windows. The twins' small voices broke the silence. They had been listening from the hallway. Daddy, she's lying. Richard looked up, torn between decades of loyalty and the undeniable truth staring back at him. Alicia had put everything on the line. Her career, her reputation, her safety, to bring this moment to light. But Martha wasn't done. She stood abruptly, her voice rising. You'll regret this. Both of you. Her eyes locked on Alicia with a venom that promised this fight was far from over. In the end, the truth left no room for doubt. Richard fired Martha that night, her decades of influence collapsing in a matter of minutes. Within weeks, Hamilton Industries quietly reinstated several wrongfully terminated employees, including Alicia's brother, David, this time in a senior position. The company adopted diversity and inclusion policies, not as empty promises, but as enforceable protections. For the twins, the change was immediate. Without Martha's shadow over the home, they laughed more, slept soundly, and began to trust again. Richard, humbled by the truth, became an ally rather than a bystander. And Alicia? She turned her victory into a mission, launching her own consultancy to help organizations dismantle systemic bias, one boardroom at a time. But victories like this are rare. For every story where the truth prevails, there are countless others where prejudice hides behind polite smiles, where careers are destroyed in silence, and where justice never comes. Alicia's fight wasn't just for the twins or for her brother. It was for everyone who has ever been underestimated, discredited, or pushed aside because of the color of their skin. Racism doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers in boardrooms, in hiring decisions, in the quiet power of those who think they'll never be challenged. The question is, how many more families, careers, and futures will be stolen before we decide that silence is no longer an option? What do you think about Alicia's fight against injustice? Have you ever witnessed someone stand up to discrimination like this? If the story moved you, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it so more people hear stories that matter.